yes, oh, come on, shorty, let's go. Girl, I see you over there in the corner of the dance floor, and I know you're acting shy, looking at the corner of your eyes. So I pick my heart up off the floor, move my feet closer to yours, catch my breath and
Hey.
Hey,
It's
what's
just
up?
me and the Joneses.
It's just me and the Jones.
And we here with the Williamses.
Hello.
We say Williams.
Welcome.
I think
Williams.
Williams or Williamses.
What?
We'll say Williams.
Williams.
Let's leave it at that.
Williams
So,
is.
Rashad and Danielle, good friends of ours.
Oh yeah, they're good friends, reliable. I've been knowing them for a few years myself. You've been knowing Rashad, and yeah. Well, actually, it's been more than a few. Yeah, it's been like over a decade now. Dang, that time be flying.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
So we are doing this thing together today.
Yes.
And so what are we talking about?
And thanks for joining us. We're talking about what arguing and fair fighting,
Fair fight.
how couples fight,
Yeah. I
And-
appreciate
and
y'all having
get-
us.
Yes.
how couples be scratching and clawing to get their points across.
Indeed, this is gonna be a nice, healthy conversation.
Yes.
Oh yeah, always.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that.
How to argue without name calling or taking shots.
Yeah, because arguing it's actually it's when you do it fairly, it's healthy. And
Yeah.
like some people say, it's probably I seen something the other day that said it's like only 3% of couples in this particular research, a study that was being done, don't argue at all. And the reason why I think that not having arguments can be unhealthy is because sometimes you're not having them because somebody is burying things, keeping it inside, not saying, what they want to say, or, because you're together and you're one, but you have different mindsets, right?
Right.
So
Right.
everybody has their own personality.
And it's gonna come out though. If
Yeah.
you
It
keep
has to.
suppressing it,
Eventually.
keep suppressing it, like it's gonna come
gonna-
out.
Be an explosion of old things that they just suppressed because
Right.
they didn't want to hurt feelings or have an argument because they're not sure how their partner would respond to it.
Right,
Exactly.
Good
And
point of
feeling
view, yeah.
like you're withdrawing because you feel like you can't,
Yes.
say
Right.
whatever
Mhm.
it is that you want to say.
Yes.
I think some people, the 3%, don't argue because they like, well, I don't give a damn. I'm doing this over here anyway, so you go ahead and keep not taking the trash out, nigga, and I'll just keep doing this over here.
Right.
That could be. I mean, to be honest,
Sometimes that is.
I mean, and maybe that worked for them. I mean, that's that 3%.
Yeah.
They may just sit there and say, well,
It's not.
I'd rather, is it worth it? It's not worth it. Whereas in a lot of us, kind of just like, okay, after a while, I need to start having the conversation.
Yeah.
Wow, you ain't
Yeah.
finna just run me over. This
Right.
this is not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Because
That's
you
right.
could be trying to keep the peace on the outside, but you raging the war on the inside, right?
And that is not good
No.
for your health because you're stressing over how to
Stress.
resolve it without causing an argument. And it's like, well, I need to say something, but how do I say it?
Yeah.
Do I just snap at him or her?
But why do you think that some people walk on eggshells with their not mates? So it's something that I need to say and I want to say, but I'm kind of skeptical to say because I'm one of those people who I'll say whatever, not like I'm not. I watch how I say things. I'm not saying that I'll just say it however I want to say it, but I do want to be productive in a conversation. But I'm saying that if it's something that I have a problem with, I'm not going to hold it aside. That's just not me.
I can say being afraid to confront someone, or not even confront, but to say what's the issue is because past experiences when they did voice their concerns,
Mhm.
the response or the feedback was, biting their head off.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I'm just not going to say nothing from now on.
Right,
I'm going to just put my wall up and I'm just like, okay, I'll just deal with it another way and go on about my day.
Because you brought it out in the open, say, hey, this is my concern. This is the issue I have. They bite your head off, but it probably didn't go that way in your head.
No.
Like when you plan on bringing it out. So
It was like, I'm approaching you because I have a problem.
Yeah.
And your response is being, attacking me like I'm the reason why you're attacking out about this whole issue. I was like, I'm just not going to say anything going forward.
I can see that.
And it affects, once you're out of that relationship going forward, it's like, should I say something? Is this going to be a repeat?
Part 2.
And that's why I tell people, because of course I'm talking about relationships all the time. Right?
Yes.
So that's why I tell people, do not, like when you're dating, do not hold things inside for fear of, are they going to still be attracted to me? Are they still going to want to date me? Because this is when you get to see, if you have if a real issue come up, this is when you get to see how this person actually resolves conflict.
Yep.
How are they going to behave or act or react or whatever when I have to present a situation to them that might be hard to hear?
Exactly.
Or that they may not like.
Right.
So I get to see, what this is going to look like moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So you can make a better informed decision
Yeah.
on your future, basically. Yeah.
No.
And that's important, though. That's
Very-
good you brought
very-
that up, because that
very
is important. That way there's no surprises.
As me and Danielle, we talk about situations where it's kind of funny. There was a podcast that we looked at with Chad Ocho, but he was saying with Shannon Sharp.
Yeah.
So he was saying, when you first meet a person, you meet their representative. So you don't meet the actual person yet. So they could have all the cover-ups and this, that, the third. So you don't know. It's the best time to see them when they're mad, when they're sad, when they're happy. You need to know all of that in order for you to know, okay, I kind of see. So the argumentative side and all that, comes into play. You kind of say, let's see what they like when they pissed off.
When they're pissed off, uneasy.
So if are you calm, cool, or are you actually you taking plates and you throwing them?
Are you explosive?
So
It's not going to be outside my head.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So that kind of relates into like with relationships and marriages as well. So you have to know all of that. If you don't, then
So like Tyler Perry,
you almost don't know what you're walking into.
Know a person in all of their seasons, or wait till you see a person in all of their seasons, or something like that.
Yeah,
something to that extent. But so you know what you did.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as far as meeting someone that I won't say love to argue, but would like to resolve whatever the conflict is, fighting fair. How do you do that?
Well,
how do you do that? Because there's some things you like, bald head. That's why your mama did.
I think that could be, showing stuff, from past experience or past stuff that y'all went through. This. Oh, I still remember this time you had this right here.
Yeah, remember that? Every single thing coming into this one argument that started with you leaving your shoes in the middle of the day. I tripped over your shoes. Now we all the way on, something totally
level 10.
6 months ago.
From 2-3 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
So
I think that's something that's got to be learned too.
intentional.
Well, say you argue, right? Mm-hmm. And you have an argument. Yeah. Like go back to our very first argument, whatever that was we had. And so, I think we grew from that argument. I may have said something you didn't like. You may have said something I didn't like that took it too far in a way. Mm-hmm. And then I think you grow from that. Say, okay, well, next time when we have a discussion, let's not raise our voices so high.
Right.
Let's go in the room away from the kids or even outside or take a drive just to get away, or you learn from it.
Right.
Yes.
You learn from that's one way to fight.
Yeah, reflecting, looking back at it and saying, this is what we could have done differently. Going forward, this is what we want to do differently. Yeah.
Right.
Because like as far as like the whole fighting fair thing,
mm-hmm.
it could be difficult unless you're very intentional about how we're going to do this, right?
Okay.
So like for instance, sometimes we all human, so we're going to get on the defense sometimes. Yeah. But I think each and every person that's involved, both people involved in that conversation needs to be able to Be very self-aware. And consider your own thoughts and emotions in that moment, right?
Yeah.
So let's just say I have an issue with you, right? So I can decide that I want to approach this situation because I'm going to approach the situation, right?
She going to approach the situation.
It's gonna get approached. You gonna find out one way or another.
Yeah.
So I can choose to, I'm gonna give a perfect example. And I'm gonna tell you, this is something I've grown into and I'm still working on, okay?
Okay.
So it ain't nothing that just happened like from the beginning of our relationship. So we in the grocery store.
Uh-oh.
I think we was in Jacksonville. And matter of fact, I think this is when we came in December. So we're in the store and we go in there, he grabs the basket. Sometimes he got this whole let's split and conquer thing or whatever, right? So divide and conquer.
Divide and conquer, yeah.
So he goes, I'm looking for something. I was looking at some gift cards or something, I think. And he decides he was gonna go do whatever. So I'm like, okay, I done along the way, I done grab this, I done grab that. My hand's full. It's some other stuff I need to grab from right here in the section where he left me at, right? So I'm like, okay, I'll get out my phone. So I start calling him so he could come so I could put the stuff in the basket. And I'm calling, he not answering. I'm calling, he not answering. I call again, he not answering. Yeah, I'm getting heated on the inside. Like in the inside of me getting hot. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
why you not picking up
I
my
really
phone?
want to go off right now, but I'm standing there like, you know what? It's all right. I'ma just woosah. So when I walked and started trying to find him, I see him on the other end of this one aisle and go across that way, right? And I'm like, so I'll try to go down there, and then I got to the basket, so I just started putting the stuff in the basket, and I said real calm and very low. I said I'm kind of annoyed right now. Something I said to the effect. You don't remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I said something to the effect of so I stated how I felt in the moment. But also his response was kind of more on the side of, I didn't see you calling or something, I don't know what it was. But it passed just that quick. And once I got to say I'm really kind of mad right now, I'm kind of annoyed or whatever I said, it kind of was just like, all right, on to the next. Like that was that moment and that was it. I could have lit in, you know what I'm saying? I could have been like, why you wait, blah, 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 blah. I was calling you. I mean,
and your hands
in
the grocery store.
My hands full, but at the end of the day, he wasn't doing anything to try to upset me. He didn't do anything wrong, so to speak. In that moment, I just felt mad because I'm like, I said, you ain't answering your phone. You going somewhere. I got to try to find you in the store. I got other stuff to grab. I could have grabbed this here. Whatever.
Okay.
But so the approach.
Well, I can definitely talk about. I can talk about that. Now my wife, there's certain things that if I do certain things, that's wrong.
Yeah.
All right. So it could be not washing the dishes or something like that, and they're out for a certain level of time. If it ain't a certain level of time and they ain't done, then it's gonna be a trigger effect that okay, what's the problem?
Yeah.
And then you sitting there like, I didn't what? Get up, start washing the dishes. So it's like it could be this mean streaks. Some things I have learned, and it is a learned trait where you actually start to say, okay, what's triggering this? The first thing what I know about my wife is there are certain things that come up, get emotional. And it's quick. Then I kind of look. First thing I think about, what time is it? What's the time? What's the date?
So you want to put hormone?
Listen, that's the first thing I got to look at, because I got to say, okay, first I'm looking at me. That's the first thing. Look at me. What did you do wrong? Can you fix it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You can fix it? Cool. What's the next step? How did this start? Okay. It started from I did this. So I did that. What's the effect that's causing it? All right. Once I figure that out, like in her case with the harmonial
Yeah.
situation. I kind of look at the time,
Situation.
but you get used
Like
to
that.
it, so you kind of know. You start knowing the schedule.
Yeah.
You start knowing the schedule. So when you know the schedule, you're like, she just snapped all of a sudden. I know what time it is. Okay, all right.
She can't help.
I'm going to level down. We ain't getting into no argument or this, that, third, which I'm not an argument person anyway. So I just kind of I sit and I observe and I gotta wait because I sit there and I'm not going to turn around and say some stuff just out of the blue. And then the fair thing, yeah, if she could fight all over the place, and I could just sit and be like this like the whole time, like, so you're not going to say anything. And I'm like,
oh my God, now that
man.
would make it worse.
listen, but here's the thing.
Oh, man.
I'm sitting, what I'm doing is I'm analyzing everything before I say something.
So
Because
in your head, you analyze it. In my head, I'm like, oh, so you gonna stonewall me?
no,
That's how I see it.
that's how
That's another part of not fighting fair, right? Stonewall.
right. But
That
that's
is.
not what I'm doing. I'm actually saying, what's my next step to say the right thing? Because if I say the
The wrong
wrong thing,
thing.
it's
then
going
it's gonna be worse.
Yeah,
That's
it's
how.
right. I gotta process it.
That's exactly how I be.
Yeah, I gotta
Okay,
say
let me
it.
think. I run through all these scenarios
No.
in my head. Like, okay, if
Right.
I say this, she
Okay,
might
if I
say
say
that.
this-
What about you? What you got?
and-
All right, let me say this over here. Let me see what you got.
Exactly.
How is she gonna answer that?
Right. That's how I look at it.
But-
So that's how I look at it. So when I look at it that way, I kind of say, all right, what's the next move? Be smart. Be strategic, because if you don't, you say the wrong thing and you just
You're toast.
put it out, you was fried.
You're toast.
You sitting there saying, I don't want to make that move, and I'm ending up on one other side of the bed, and she looking at me like, good night. And that's it. And you just like,
Yep.
Now,
I understand.
it's not always hormonal, sir.
I know it's not.
It's not.
With that, sometimes I look at myself and I say, oh, let me look at my app. And then I look
do.
at my app, then I say,
Mm.
oh, heads up.
Heads up. She give me a heads up. She give me a fair heads up.
But at least you doing that.
Yeah.
I don't get a heads up. So there was no heads up. The only thing, it was like a snappy moment. And then the only time I knew something was going on is when we go to dinner and she pulls the app.
When
the phone.
I get teary-eyed
See
over
that?
little things,
See
then
that?
I know it's coming close. And I was like, okay, I need to not get so enraged over little things that I'm like, okay, some things I think you should know how to do without me having to coax you to do it or say, hey, could you? It should be, here you go. It's already taken care of.
But see, this is like the example you gave, that's learning one another, right? So you already know her, okay, this gotta be, let me see. So that's learning one another.
Yeah.
Right.
And then now I know how to respond to it, or whatever. And that's
Boy, that's the best way to be, though.
yeah.
Because I'm telling you.
Yeah, and that's a part of fighting fair too, like learning one another.
Mhm.
And like me, I'm a loud person in general, right? So I'm loud. I have always been like a loud person, a yeller, all of it. The balance is boss saying, wait, lower your voice. You know what I'm saying? Now, if he said in a certain way, then no, that ain't gonna work. But if you were saying it as a reminder, to lower your voice, that's one thing.
Yes.
One time I said volume down. Turn you down a little bit.
So that does make a big difference when arguing. When it's just saying it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes a bit difference.
You can say, I don't like your shirt.
Mm.
I don't like your shirt.
Yeah.
What was the neck roll for? You can just say, I don't like your shirt.
Yeah, it is how you say it to some people. Some people, it's hard to say stuff to, like, anyway, but for the most part, it could definitely be how you say it. Like, for instance, if I feel a certain way, I can say, and I'm totally like, some therapists, we vary with what they believe or say on this, but a lot of therapists is on board with what I'm about to say. When you say, I'm a firm believer that a lot of things people don't make you feel. You feel it for a certain reason within, like how you the way you process it, the way you perceive it, right? Mm-hmm. So instead of me saying you made me mad, or you made me this, or you made me, I feel blank because of this.
Yeah.
You know, and they saying, and you're not saying, well, you blah, or well, you this,
Right.
or you always, or you never. And it's very easy for us to lie and say somebody always do something, or don't do something, or never do something, or never. And really, that is not, most times it's not never or always. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you always do this, and there's plenty of times when it isn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you of course, it ain't intentional lying. You just saying, that's just words. You just like, you
Yeah,
always
that's just
lie.
word, yeah.
But I feel mad because I asked you to get them bags out the garage.
How did I know?
500 times.
How did I know she was gonna say that? How did I know she was gonna say that?
I feel unheard because
What
I would
asked
like
her-
to organize this garage, but those bags are still sitting there. You know, it's something like that. You know, it's in a way you can, and then making sure you know when to approach the situation too.
Yes.
You know, somebody burnt out. They just had a long day at work, and they
you didn't take the trash out. You didn't do this. You left your socks on the floor. You left the towel everywhere. So it's like, can I have 5 minutes to decompress before you come approaching me with what's happening in the household?
Yeah.
You see that? I
And
switch you.
anyway, like, okay, let's really just talk about, like, I know this about, like, in general, fighting fair, but some of the small things, right, that we could just go ahead and not even say nothing about.
Oh, of course.
And just do it. And just not even say nothing about it, you know? Because sometimes I do that. I'm like, I ain't even going to say nothing. I'm just going to do this.
Exactly. I mean,
I
it's
just
the same
do
way.
it.
I mean, you just knock it out.
I just do it.
That way it's over with. You ain't got to say nothing.
I just do
I
it.
know I do it quite a bit of times.
Yeah.
I don't say anything. I don't say nothing. I just say, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and handle it.
Yeah. Because a lot of times, 10 seconds.
Yep.
It takes literally 10 seconds. If
Listen,
that.
I'm still learning that whole ordeal with, all right, with your cup is right there.
Yeah.
The trash can right here. What's the problem between the cup and the trash can? And I'm like, well, I'm not finished. You got a little bit left. Okay, let me drink it. Okay,
You gonna drink it first because you don't want to waste
please,
it.
I don't want to waste it.
Yeah.
Or in my case,
I know,
just
that's
say
right.
you only drink half of it, and then you throw it in, you put it in the refrigerator. What happened
It
with
goes
it?
bad.
Then it goes bad. Then you got to throw it away.
So it's those okay, so thinking about it, if I say something about this and it becomes an argument, was it really worth it? Because is this going to matter tomorrow? Is it going to matter a week from now? Is it going to matter 2 weeks from now?
You said some stuff then.
You know,
Yeah, you said something then, right?
so kind of thinking about that too, and like, and then like you said earlier, like those little things can start escalating to bigger stuff that you've been, you know,
Holding.
Okay. So sticking to the topic, right? And remember that the problem is not me. The problem is not you. The problem is the problem. So let's look at this problem on the outside of us.
Yes.
So we two people on the same team. This problem is on the outside of us.
Yeah.
How are we going to resolve this problem that's on the outside of us, right?
Right.
So you're looking at it like this. This us, this that.
Right.
So let's resolve it, right?
Right.
Let's compromise. Let's not be trying to, I win, you win. But when we tackle this problem, we both win, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, because you know, y'all like to say, happy wife, happy life.
Happy life.
It's
Wife,
happy
happy
house,
life.
happy spouse. Because what's the point in me? Like, I can't be happy if you ain't happy. Come on, man.
But most likely, you're going to be unhappy. You're going to be more unhappy than me. So, I mean, that's
That's a true statement.
see,
because
a lot of stuff really don't matter to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, in terms of, like,
what he just
from the
said.
front door to the back door, however you want to decorate it, you do it. It don't matter to me. Can I get my little small section in the refrigerator? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I've been saying this for I don't know how long.
Yeah.
I've been saying this for how long?
Yeah.
I get it.
It's
My wife
definitely
finally, she's
real.
trying to get in. I was like, listen, I could care less what you do with it. This is your house.
There you go.
Do what you want.
There you
However
go.
you want to do it.
Well, you know, some people ain't not so lucky. Some women ain't so lucky.
Some are
the
so
man who
some are not so
wanna
fortunate.
Be like, oh, man, controlling everything, even when they don't care about it. You know, so that's a different. You know, you guys are an exception to the rule when it comes to stuff like that. You know, there's the
Definitely.
people who actually have to deal with, like, because
Have to run every decision by the husband or by the spouse. Just say the spouse.
That sound narcissistic.
Yeah.
I mean, God, they got to have they got to have say so and everything.
I got too many other things to be thinking about.
Yes.
Other than,
for real. Man.
I ain't thinking about that.
Okay, so when you separate yourselves from the problem to work together to resolve the problem, what happens when there's one person who wants to and one who don't? Who wants to just keep the problem going?
Because it's going to take it's going to take open mind. It's going to take open minds to be able to do that. Like, you got to put yourself aside, you know, and you matter. What you feel matters, what you think matters. All of these things, but so does the other person. Like, everything that other person thinks, feels, all of that matter too. So it's like, we need to be looking out for each other at the same time that we're looking out for ourselves, right? Because granted, given if you're in a mostly healthy relationship, right? Of course, if you with a narcissist or you with somebody who's abusive in different ways, emotionally, mentally, physically, all of these things,
right?
Some of these things may not work or be more difficult to work. Like, you have to really consider where you are, you know, who you with.
Yeah,
you know,
everybody's situation different.
And if you need to be in this relationship, because if it's always toxic and you can't get past that, you know, that person never see, you know, they're always gaslighting you. They're always, you know, and I'm using always because that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's never a conversation where you're ever going to be heard, you know, and sometimes some people are in that situation. And then I know we done talked about before, and it's easy to do this when you bring a situation to someone, right? And then they say, well, you know what I'm saying? Or they try to turn it on you.
So they
say
defensive.
And we talked about that because it's like, if you didn't have a problem with this before I said it, or you didn't say nothing to me about it until I said it, you save that for another time when you want to approach me with the situation. Like, so you got to be careful not to use somebody else, your mates, when they come to you to say, this is what I have an issue with, to use that as an opportunity to be on the defense, to tell them now what you have a problem with them. Because then you ain't getting nowhere. You know, let's address the problem that was just brought to the floor.
Definitely.
You know.
Yeah.
And I know I'm guilty of that, but it just seemed like the right time to bring it up though. Like, well, what about you when you did
arguing? Let me go ahead and bring up my laundry list of problems.
You think you're holding that big joker, you know what I'm saying? You're like, wow, what about that? Hey, you know.
But why is that really going?
And it really don't help. It really don't help.
So now I'm gonna become defensive because now you're jumping on me about stuff that you didn't like I did and I didn't know.
And it really don't help.
I said something, and now I'm thinking you only got a problem with it because I got a problem with something. But my issue, like, I have an issue with cutting people off. That could be in any situation, not an argument, not nothing. Like, that's something that I'm trying to be more intentional about. So I have an issue with cutting off people, you know. So that's something to be careful about. Like, when you're having an argument, especially, everybody needs to be heard. And what I do sometimes with couples is I'm like, okay, this is your minute. You got people who be like, I be like,
you had your,
you know, they be like,
it's your turn yet.
I be like, we listening.
Yeah.
We're listening not to respond. Remember, we're listening to understand. Right. You know, so let's put what we need to say aside right now and listen completely, like totally listen to this person. And some things might be hard to hear. We get it. It could be hard to hear, but that's a part of, you know, growth.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a part of growth.
Definitely.
Because you check whoever you with, they are, if they challenge you, you know, sometimes that challenging is good because it's causing you to see yourself. Your relationship is going to cause you to see you, right? So it's gonna cause you to really look at yourself. And what you like, some of the things you experienced in childhood, that's you're gonna bring that into your relationship. And that is gonna cause you to see yourself. Sometimes it might cause you to see this 8-year-old you or the 15-year-old you or some of these things that you went through whenever. But you're gonna see yourself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
You said that.
All right. Yeah.
But
You said that, ma'am.
that's the truth, though. I mean,
But how hard is it? Because like it's when I say sitting with yourself, like I was saying earlier, sometimes your triggers don't have nothing to do with your spouse, right?
yeah. Yes.
Which I have always, when I feel that something that he did or said was not a big deal, but I'm triggered by it, I'm like, okay, then you go sit in the corner and think, check yourself. It's stuff that I was like, he should be able to do this, 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 and this, and this. And it was like, well, did you say this, this, and this to him?
Oh, mind reading. Oh.
Have
Oh.
You know we want them to mind read, right? You should know this by now. You know what I'm saying? And I'm good for saying, oh, we done been married for 13 years. Like, but mind reading is something that would quickly get you in trouble because you can assume.
And that's a bad thing to do, is assume.
Yeah. And sometimes it's good to paraphrase things to make sure you got a correct understanding of what is being said during that argument. But you know, some people get mad at paraphrasing.
That's not what I said. I said X, Y, and Z, not A, B, C, L, M, N.
Yeah.
No.
Well, that's why I'm paraphrasing. Right?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And sometimes people see paraphrasing as sarcasm, right?
That you're not listening to me.
But some people don't know what paraphrasing is. So they use and I've had couples too that will sit right in therapy, and I'm like, somebody will paraphrase and they'll get mad, and I'm like, that's called paraphrasing. Let's slow down for a minute because I got rules in my office.
Okay,
you know,
that's right.
We're gonna understand the words that we're using in here, so it won't be one-sided or someone thinking they're better than the next.
Exactly, because I want y'all to be able to take these skills and everything we're learning in here and apply it at home, right? And some people wait till they get into therapy because they feel like that's a safe place before they discuss stuff. But I want you to be able to get in a place where you feel like it's safe to discuss these things at home.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. So
that's how it ought to be.
Yeah.
What about
because if you can't do that, it ain't healthy. How healthy is it if you can't discuss something anywhere in the car, home, in a private setting, or whatever?
Yeah, we do that all the time. So it could be car,
anywhere,
restaurant.
Well, the fact that you're saying anything too, though, how do you, when you're around people though, like, what about, do y'all like argue in front of people? Like,
I don't agree with arguing in front of people because it will give them, like, I would say something to talk about.
Yeah,
like,
that's exactly what I was just thinking.
Yeah.
Is that how they always are?
Yeah.
We'll save this discussion for later. No need to have a full blown out, raising voices, pointing fingers, calling each other names.
Right.
Oh, name calling is definitely a no-no. Like, that's really something we never, like, arguing and calling names, or you stupid, or you, well, you so slow with your crazy.
With us, it's like, it's one-sided. So I really don't be saying nothing. I'm just chilling.
I can see that. I can see that too, man. let her get it all out.
That's my point. My whole thing is, I love to analyze. I've been that person my whole entire life. So I just sit and analyze everything before I make a move. It's like my dad always tell me, he was like, before you speak, be slow to speak, swift to listen.
Quick to listen. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like one of those things that, like, I always just sit and, before I say anything, listen to the whole entire situation. Sometimes it'll be revealed right in front of your face what's actually happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you kind of just be like, oh, I know what it is. That's why, like I said, with the emotional thing, or it could be any type of trigger, I can pick it up and then say, I know what it is. After she finished her conversation or at me, it could be
and it's not intentional at him or me yelling at him. Is more so like, we've discussed this before. Were you not listening?
Right.
Right. Okay. You not. We already talked about this basically when you're not listening.
Here's my effect.
That sounds like something I say.
But here's my effect to that whole thing. Like, she said some stuff that was like, and I was like, oh, you really mad? Okay. And I just kind of sit there and say, okay, I'm gonna really listen harder now because I gotta pay attention. I gotta pay attention to what's really going on. Oh, this is a bigger situation now. So, but majority of the time, after she's got it all out, then it's like, come here. No.
Okay.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right. Whatever you're going through, I'm here. That's my mind is like, it's one of those things that it's a neutralizer. So it's now like, does she make me upset? Yeah, but I handle it,
and I don't hear a word from
I handle it in a different context. So it's kind of just like, first in my mind, first and foremost, are you mad for what? What are you mad for? Are you mad because she telling the truth? She lying? It internalizes itself. Yeah. So I sit there and say, hey, she not lying. But then why in the world you gonna get mad?
That's what I mean when I say sit with your own thoughts and your own emotions.
Right.
Because now you're looking at what this feeling you having.
Right.
And your feelings are triggered by your thoughts.
Right.
So now let me examine my thoughts so I can see where these feelings coming from.
Right.
And that's what you're doing.
Right. And I do that a lot. So I can sit. That's why I sit and okay, she mad about this need to be, is she right? Yeah, she right. Dang. Okay, let me go ahead and but now there's certain things that's wrong that she could say, and I'll be like, whoa. That is not. Now you know good well you don't hug me like you used to. Whoa. Stop that. Now you know good well I hug you every night.
Right.
All day long. Don't even.
You talk about so.
Well, he doesn't point his finger at me.
No.
He doesn't point his finger at me.
But it's more like it. I just say no. Now I can stop right. I can let you talk.
Mm-hmm.
But if you say something that's out of bounds, that's like, no, that ain't true. No. Now we know that ain't true.
You call out, yeah.
And after that, now proceed. You say all the stuff you want to say, and once you get it out, we all right. You hungry?
Yeah.
No,
Majority of the time.
I can't stand when I have a real issue with something and he's talking about something hungry.
Let's go.
Man, no.
Let's go get something to eat. What you want to eat?
Listen.
Everything is not about being hungry.
Baby, you need a sandwich?
Listen.
We've had I'll say
Man, because that
I
hangry is
have
real.
exploded on him because I was hangry. And he's looked at me like, who are you?
You know what's funny though about the hangriness? He get hangry too and he don't even know it. I know I get hangry. And I know when I'm hangry. This man would get hangry and he don't even know he hangry. And I'll be sitting in the car looking like, okay, watch. As soon as he eat this food, he gone. His whole demeanor gonna flip. And he'll eat and then next thing you know. I'm like, you was just being sarcastic for everything like 10 minutes ago. Now you done ate and now you ain't hangry no more. So I just and if I say he hangry, he ain't gonna admit it, right? So I just don't say that no more. I just sit there and be like, okay, watch. Just watch.
I think it's a difference. I think it's a difference between the two of us when we hangry. Because when you hangry, you just going off about everything. Seem like you are really seriously going off.
That sounds about right.
Me, I may be a little sarcastic, whatever, but I try to keep things to myself. But then you might say something
that's just gonna say
everything I say is gonna irritate him.
No, not everything.
Yeah, everything he's gonna say is gonna irritate him when he angry. But see, that's because we respond to things differently.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, I'm gonna respond at my honey, and you gonna respond at whatever you like. You just a little bit above your little 5. You always on.
There you go. See, so it really ain't that bad. That's why I say it's different, because it really ain't that bad compared to what you do.
But you know what? Another thing that is you have to be careful of too when you're in the middle of an argument, because some people arguments now ours don't last for days. If we argue about something, some people arguments last for days, but they begin to triangulate other people into theirs because they want to hear. I'm going to talk to somebody I know going to back me up or make me feel like I'm right in this situation, instead of somebody like a lot of my friends and stuff. They already know I'm unbiased. So I ain't finna be on your side just because you my friend. You know what I'm saying? So let's look at this thing on the outside. This problem on the outside of y'all, right? And see what's going on. But sometimes people try to triangulate other people into their situation because they want somebody who they feel like, oh well,
more
I
confirmation.
talked to XYZ and they said and they see my way too.
They agree with me.
That's not
Right.
Yeah, I seem to be the person Danielle, come on over here. Let me tell you this real quick.
You got that friend.
Friend. I'm like the lifeline of going through trouble. Danielle, I need your ear. Oh my God, sis. What you think I should do? Well, I suggest. What you mean suggest? You're not going to advise me? I don't use the word advice.
Yeah.
I'm not going to advise you anything because I am not going to be reeled back in when this comes up later.
Exactly.
Well, you said I should.
Right.
No.
And some people do that. It's like, listen, I'm one of them people, unless you're getting beat on, I'm never the person who's going to tell you to leave your relationship.
Right.
So, no.
Whatever decision you make, I'll be supportive the best way, however, but I cannot make that decision for you.
Yep.
That's right.
But and timeouts is another thing. So we talked about the silent treatment. I say the silent treatment is very toxic, right? It's abusive. Sometimes you have people that go for days, they won't talk to days, hours. You would be sitting here talking. My ex used to do that, you know? I could literally be talking to this man, and he's giving me the silent treatment about something that he did. Okay,
wait,
so
what?
I could literally be talking to this man, and he'll act like I ain't even there. No response, no look at me, like literally I'm not here. And that got to be one of the most emotionally damaging, mentally unhealthy things that you could do. And some people do that for days to the person that they're with.
Goodness.
And and it's a form of control. It's even a form of manipulation. And so as far as the silent treatment, that is different from taking a time out. Okay? Taking a time out is healthy. The silent treatment is not. So what taking a time out looks like is, you know what? Right now we both
eat it
and flat burn. You know, or maybe somebody feeling flooded. That means that all of this coming is just too much right now. You know, let's take a time out. Let's go maybe 30 minutes to an hour. We'll come back and talk about this when we both done went and thought about it a little bit. You know, whatever our blood pressure done went down some, our nervous system has settled. You know what I'm saying, and all of these things. And then we'll come back and we'll have this conversation with more open minds, with more of better, you know, we can listen better and be less emotional and all of this stuff. That's the time out.
I also think that'll help keep you from saying something that you're gonna regret.
Yes.
Later that night or whatever, you know.
That's why.
My goodness.
Which hence I keep quiet.
Yeah.
Make sure because what I'm thinking, I could be like, hell for hell, boy.
I know, yeah.
I'm gonna say some
I'm about to call her.
Wow.
I'm gonna light this chick up. I mean, but then
but you wait, like, calm down. You calm yourself down. Yeah,
chill out.
Jeez,
it you know, people use other words.
Right.
It can get colorful after a while in your head. So you just kind of have to, you know, first it goes back to within self.
Yeah,
that's what the primary thing is.
Yeah.
Because
now, speaking of timeout, you said 30 minutes, maybe an hour.
Yeah.
If it were to go beyond that, is that still considered healthy?
Well, it depends on what's going on. Like if it goes beyond that, because sometimes it can go beyond that. Because okay, somebody when they did their time out, we taking the time out. I'm gonna go to Target. I might be in Target for 2-3 hours. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm not avoiding the conversation.
Mhm.
I'm not doing anything to like make you feel bad or anything like that. I'm not doing anything to try to make you feel bad. But it's just that I got caught up into what I'm doing. Or if you're saying that, what if in 30 minutes to an hour we're not ready yet?
Right.
Okay. I'm still trying to process something, and we will wait a little bit more, and then it might be 9 o'clock at night. So can we wait till, in the morning? Some people don't like to carry stuff like that long.
Right.
Sometimes you have people who, like me, I rather talk about stuff and let it get it over with. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. I don't like stuff like eating at me, But then you have people that is more so, okay, let's talk about this now. And this person, I don't really want to talk about this right now. But I think that I don't really want to talk about this right now person. And the person who really need to talk about it in that moment need to try to think about why. Like, I'm real pressed to talk about this. Why? Let me think about what's going on right now.
Right.
And then the person that I don't want to talk about this, because some people don't ever want to talk about nothing, and they don't want to talk about it ever. They just rather. So it's like let's just sweep it under
the easy way.
Move on.
Easy way out.
And
Yeah.
that's not healthy for neither person.
At some point, something will fall on that,
Mm-hmm.
And it'll happen again.
and
Basically.
It's going to happen again.
Yeah.
It's going to be a roundabout situation. Like so, being intentional about like, okay, what's the best way to come back to this situation and talk about this? Because, we want to be able to do it productively.
Yes.
And sometimes if you gotta wait, because like, let's just say I don't want to wait, and the other person do want to wait. If I gotta wait, I might need to go journal. I might need to find some coping, go to my toolbox and put out some coping skills, which it could be a mental toolbox. To go do some things to calm myself, self-soothe, while I'm waiting for my mate to be ready to talk about this situation. But it's gonna be talked about. That's the thing. Got to be talked about. It can't be one of these situations where you just saying, "Oh, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it,"
and then just move on from it.
Gotta get on with it. Yeah, gotta talk about it.
Well, at least with us, we always talk about ours.
Yeah.
So it doesn't just. It may be like in the middle of the night, blow up. All right, she go to bed. I'll be like, okay, let me really think about this. I'll go on the couch, I'll sit there and be like, all right, we cool. Go ahead. By the time I get up in the morning, she come in.
Yeah.
And I say nothing. She may just be like, you're not gonna say good morning? I ain't have to. Okay, we already. Listen. Come sit. Come sit down. And I always envision myself because it kind of reminds me of my dad.
Right.
He has that. Come sit down.
Right.
Let's talk. So I do the same thing with her. So I say, hey, sit. This is what I came up with. What I'm seeing.
Okay.
This, that I'm giving all the information. This is what you're pretty much displaying to me. I'm trying to tell you, hey, I'm trying my best with this.
Right.
I'm trying my best with that. This is what I'm trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to be the best at it? I don't think so. Maybe not to your standards.
Yeah.
But however, I'm trying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the biggest thing. And she gets it at that point, like, I know you're trying. But, why don't you do it like, and I'm like, well, I'm used to this way. I'm trying to adjust. Is it going to take, I don't know how it's going to take.
It may take, give or take. Yeah. That compromising.
Right.
Yeah.
That helps a lot.
Right. So,
and if this is not your strong suit, maybe I need to, like for instance, boss wash dishes. He does the dishes the majority of the time. So I can't necessarily, I used to be like, you know what? I don't want no dishes left in the sink, especially when I'm working at home and he going to work and I just want nothing in the sink. But if I'm not going to be the one to wash the dishes, I can't keep complaining about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can take your behind in there. I'm talking to myself, and you could
wash the dishes
in the dishwasher or wash them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if you, and so sometimes you got to kind of think of it in that way. Like if I don't want to do this, and he's saying I'm going to do this because you don't want to, I gotta give and take somewhere. So
Exactly.
if it's looking like this, I can't tell him I can't tell him I'm not doing this or I don't want to do this, and I'm finna tell you how to do it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so it's just
Yeah.
a matter of kind of thinking, give and take.
Yeah.
It was a lot of adjustments.
Yeah, and y'all been
Of
married
course.
how long?
It'll be 3 years
Okay,
come May.
yeah.
May,
So
yeah,
May.
that's right.
It's
That's
still,
right.
oh yeah,
So
that's fresh
Right.
when it
Yeah.
comes to, because me and him we didn't live together the first year of our marriage. He was in Korea.
Right.
So when he came home, it was like me and the kids. We already have this
routine going.
thing,
Away,
and then now we got to learn how to live together. So how do we, and that's probably when we got in our most arguments is when we were adjusting to just blending our family and just being, learning how to talk to each other, learning how to live with each other, all of this stuff like that. So
And it was tough at
yeah,
first.
and so it's tough in a sense of like just doing that adjustment and really checking yourself and figuring out, how do we need to approach the situations and things like that. So,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because she had her way of running her house, and I had my way of running mine. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We get together and be like, "Hey, well, my way worked for me, so I mean,
right.
forget your way."
It take a lot of-
But I mean, I check myself like, well, her way ain't bad,
Right.
and it does work. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Well, mine, all that stuff went out the window. It's your house. As when my mom was like, "This our house." Now, like I didn't even know, I haven't even had my house that long, and she was just like, "Well, you do know that's our house now." I was like, "Just like, well, dog, I guess let me enjoy where I can."
Yeah.
You go ahead and take the sock, throw it on top of the.
If that what you want to do it now.
Do it now, because if I don't, then next thing you know, what the sock is doing on the counter? Dang it, man.
Exactly. But yep, I mean, the more you
Compromise, yeah.
the more you remember that we are on the same team, we are not enemies.
Yes.
Yeah.
The easier it will be. Keeping that mindset makes it easier to, fight fair.
Right.
Because it's like we not supposed to be against each other. Like we're on the same team. We both want to be happy. We both want this thing to work. So how are we gonna do what we need to do to make sure that happens? So when we get in arguments, disagreements, how are we going to do that? And luckily, we don't have like blow up arguments a lot. That may be like every blue. When I tell you every blue moon, I mean we done been together more years than we done had a blow up argument.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I do have a question though, in regards to arguing. Do you think the age of a couple or the years of marriage with a couple determines the type of arguments? Is it a major blow up, or is it just you forgot to fix my coffee this morning type arguments?
Yeah.
I think it depends on the couple.
Dang, that's a good question.
Regardless of the age. And I think in the years, because I think a lot of things come into play, right? So I think emotional intelligence is a big one.
Ooh.
So being emotional intelligence is not only being able to check your own emotions, but it's being able to handle somebody else. So that comes into play, like emotional intelligence. Because you got people that's 50, 60 years old and they physically fight in their arguments and they done been married 30 years.
Goodness.
So, you
God,
so,
Throw a hip out there fighting each other.
get a heart attack, man.
So it's about it's about the couple and their willingness to decide that, okay, this is how we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And your willingness to see yourself,
Okay.
to grow, to understand that it's not always you. Sometimes it's me. So to just really doing the hard stuff, being able and understanding that there are going to be hard things that come up.
Of course.
And and everybody different. Some people don't have the really hard stuff.
Yeah.
like, you know, the infidelity and all that is not a part of everybody's relationship. But sometimes, and I say the hard stuff because it's the hardest thing is probably being able to check yourself and say, okay, yeah, you know what? And being able to say, you right and I'm wrong. Or sometimes nobody's wrong. Sometimes we both right in our own way. But we just got to figure out how to make our two rights work. Right? So,
Yeah.
Well, at least we, I can say this: me and my wife has not had that blow up.
Yeah.
Like it was just, and it's never been that. Maybe because ultimately I'm not the one that's going to be engaging in yelling and screaming.
Right.
I'm kind of just like I kind of just sit there and just be like, you can go there if you want. As anybody that know me, they kind of just sit there and say, yeah, he's not the one that's going to be yelling and screaming. I'm not.
Should be there by herself. Right?
Yeah. You're gonna be arguing. And one of my friends did ask that question. She said, if I was to argue at you today or tomorrow, how would you do it? How would you come back at me? I'll be like, no. I'll be out the door. I'll just walk. For you, I wouldn't care. Now my wife, my spouse, my children, or my parents, for that, you know, okay, I'm gonna just let you talk. Yeah. You get all the stuff out that you want. Then I can make my points, but my points are always gonna be calm and cool because I had to learn that. That's over years. Yeah. You learn it and you just sit there and say, well, what's the use in yelling and screaming?
And that's what balance us, because boss is more the laid back person.
Right.
And I'm more of the high strong person. You know, I'm loud when I'm calm. You know what I mean? So I can be calm as all I know, and I can be loud at the same time.
Well, I know. So I know this one. I know this one right here.
What?
Voice this small, but let her start yelling, and it gets this big, and you be like,
"Well, who are you?"
When I caught her a few times.
Whoa.
But I mean, you're right. It all depends on the couple and the person.
Right.
I would never imagine 50 plus couples out there physically fighting each other.
You would hope. You would hope not.
But when it comes to us, I don't like to argue. To me, it's a trigger point. Raised voices, yelling, that's a trigger for me because of what I had to deal with growing up.
Yeah.
So I rather just talk it out. If I'm mad, let me cool down first and then, but if it's something that I know, like, okay, we've discussed this and you just gone over your head too many times, then you're going to hear my, what do you call it, She-Hulk voice.
And you know, what does it look like? You know, you can argue really calmly. You know what I mean? Like sit there and have a argument and be disagreeing your butt off, in which all disagreements are not arguments, but at the same time, you trying to argue a point. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it can be very calm. Like just, and I think that's how most of our arguments are. And another thing is, like, I think it helps to calm the nervous system too when you touch. You can be having a disagreement and be holding hands, like, you know, well, you know, I understand exactly what you're saying, you know,
but
and trying not to use but.
However,
I understand what you're saying. I feel blah blah blah, you know, and yeah. So, and even I'm not trying to hurt you. That's not my intentions. I do need you to know this, or I do need you to understand that, or trying to have these conversations, you know, and with love. Because you still, at the end of the day, you got to remember this: the person sitting in front of you that you claim to love.
Yeah.
So.
Better or
I
worse.
love the good part of you, not the bad part. Nope, you got to love it all.
Flaws and all.
Flaws and all. Yep, that's true.
I love
it
you
might
when
be
you
hard,
bring
but
me
that's true.
gifts and take me places. I don't love you. I don't. when you get on my nerves.
Yeah.
I don't love you when you forget to do things.
Yeah. Can't pick and choose.
Yeah.
You can't pick and choose.
Gotta do it all.
Yeah.
Gotta do it all. That's right. So, I mean, that's just remembering that hey, at the end of the day, this is the person that I'm spending my life with. Nah. So we could make it easy, or we can make it hard.
Don't make it hard.
And it's all about being intentional.
Yes.
Yeah.
And nobody's perfect, so things gonna happen. You're gonna fight unfair.
Yeah.
Sometimes. But for the most part, you want to have that intention to, like, you know what? Okay. I gotta because I have seen people say that no matter how they approach a situation, the person gonna get upset about it. And sometimes you have to allow people to be upset though too. Like, okay, if somebody get mad because you brought something to them, sometimes you can't allow them the room to space to feel all their feelings and their emotions as well. It's not a bad thing to feel it. You know, it's just how you know,
Approach.
how you come across,
Yeah,
how you react to it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Getting defensive when someone brings something to your attention.
Yeah. And sometimes that's gonna happen. But I mean, maybe you gotta sit down, you know, first I got defensive. But I thought about what you said.
Yeah.
I can see that. I might not agree, but I can see it. I can understand it, you know. And yeah.
Okay.
So being able to agree to disagree sometimes.
There's nothing wrong with that.
That's if that person wants to.
Yeah.
Because if they don't, and that's a whole nother matter.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, like I said, it takes two people. And I mean, it take, you know how they say it takes two people to argue.
If one person arguing,
But it's gonna take
talking
both
to
of them
yourself.
people to
Yes.
yeah. I mean, if for so long you only gonna, if you shut down all the time when your mate is trying to express themselves to you or have a conversation or talk about something, eventually that's gonna draw a wedge in between you because you shutting down, y'all never talking about things or resolving anything, and they're walking away out feeling defeated, unheard, you know, unimportant, and all of these other things that they're feeling. And after so long, that just kind of
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And that those defense mechanisms,
Go.
gotta recognize those too.
Definitely.
So fighting fail.
Fighting.
Well.
Pillow fight, maybe?
A what?
Pillow fight?
Pillow fight? Yeah. I like that idea.
Well, as long as when we argue, we fight fair.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Exactly.
And
It seems like ain't no fighting in my hand. I just be sitting. That's it.
They just sit and look.
I just sit and look. I just sit and look.
Thankfully, he doesn't ask, "Are you done?" Because then that probably just send me
Listen,
along.
It's all about being strategic and smart and saying, don't say nothing stupid. Just listen, and that's it. When it's all done, you can say it could be all wrong. It could be all wrong.
So do you ever say, "Okay, I'm processing," or you just really sit there and just?
No, I'm processing.
No, I'm saying, do you say that? Like, do you articulate that and let her know that that's what you're doing? Like, I know now you probably learned that that's just how he do.
Right. At first, because I was like, so "You're not gonna say anything?
Right.
You're really not gonna say anything to me?" I'm trying to process.
And
So I've learned now that when
so
he's processing, he just has this blank look on his face. It's not all the time, but it's like, okay, he's really trying to internalize what
what's happening. Yeah,
I'm saying the issue is, and like, okay, is she right?
Yeah.
there are certain things I just, like what she tell me with the eyes that I process.
Yeah.
If I'm processing, my eyes go like this. So I don't know that. So I was like, dang, I do that? And she was like, yes.
Yeah.
That's what, I guess that's how she probably picked it up because I sit and I just be like, I don't really be paying attention. But I guess she like,
his eyes shift from left to right. And he's like, I was like, okay, I'm gonna let you.
Because she even said something earlier before y'all got here. I was cleaning the bathroom. I was in and out the bathroom.
Right.
You said something. I forgot what it was, and I was like, Okay. I mean, to myself, I ain't say it out loud. But I mean, it's just,
Like,
I just
okay,
don't
I got
believe
it.
everything got to always require some kind of like
Well, mine is,
acknowledgement like that.
mine is a little different because I have to actually hear because she talks so low. So you got to be like this.
Oh my
like,
Right.
gosh.
You have to be like,
What?
what?
I'm
That's
practicing.
it. This, that. Oh, okay. If it's anything, I'm going to the store. Oh, okay.
So now I feel like I have to yell in my house for them to hear me.
I'm practicing on actually talking low. How I've been doing, baby.
Yeah, you getting there.
What?
You getting there. It's still, you get that though.
Like sit here and be like, because
Sometimes I'll be like, dang, are you talking to me or the neighbors? I'm right here. But I mean, I understand that. That's just,
Yeah.
that's how she is. I mean, that's just her personality. It's
I've had
personality, you know what I'm saying?
I've had that at restaurants.
We're at restaurants and his volume be on 15. And I'm like, honey, do you want the table across the room to hear
But
it?
here's the thing: I don't do it all the time.
Yeah.
It's like with the fellas. If it's a conversation with football or
Sports.
something like that, that's where the trigger comes in.
Oh yeah.
And you tend to over talk. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, so this, that, the third. And for whatever reason, you go up, they go up, you go
It
up
gets
some
hot,
more,
yeah.
and it just
I
gets
feel
like,
you.
listen, man, I'm trying to take. And then,
Yeah.
why y'all yelling?
Yeah.
This is just what we do. It's just one of like
God, that's
if
just how it is
have
with guys.
a story.
Yeah.
I like it to be animated. So
Yes.
my stories, I have to be animated.
definitely, yes, that's you for real.
Yeah. See, so it can't be just
And different voices.
yeah. So I use different voices.
Yeah.
That's me.
Story.
I
That's you
just-
telling the story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I'm
you're
telling
doing
the
it
story.
right.
So
Yeah.
it tends
Yeah.
to go up.
Yeah.
Wait.
When you're excited and happy.
All right, I gotcha. All right, come
Definitely
on
when
now.
you're excited.
Right.
Mm,
Yeah. So
that was
Well,
good. That was a good one.
So
Good one.
fight and fair, y'all. Everybody gotta figure out what works for them.
Yep.
Where you need to grow in your relationship. Discuss your growth points. I think that's a good way to start. Discussing. This might work for us. Let's try this when we have an argument or disagreement or whatever.
Mhm.
See what works for you. Have that discussion. It's okay to sit down and talk about how you're gonna fight, right? So
Yeah. That's healthy and it cussing each other out.
That's very
Yeah.
important. Very important.
So
Learning from each other.
Yeah.
Again,
Yes.
learning from your arguments. Because, like, hey, say y'all do cuss each other out the first time. Hey,
Hey.
well, it happens. You know, so let's be real. It happens.
First argument. So you don't
It
know
happens.
what sets each other
So,
off.
I mean,
yeah, some people just
because hey, I really didn't like that. I appreciate that. If we could one, keep it down and not use cuss words. Can we start there?
Some people use cuss words anyway, and they don't find it offensive because that's just the way they talk.
Oh, that's the way they
use a lot
talk.
of
Yeah,
cuss
I
words.
get that. I'm saying
But all
cussing.
that talk
That's a
about,
different though. That's what I'm talking about when I
Yeah.
say God, using cuss
Cussing
words is one
at
thing,
me,
but
and
cussing
just
somebody
using-
out is
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
offensive.
yeah.
Yeah, that's why I married the one that I married. Now. There ain't no way. You ain't gonna be cussing me out there. Oh, really?
Yeah,
Bye bye. And
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So,
yeah,
but yeah, so that's
and compromise. I want to bring that back up again. Yeah, compromise.
Empathy, understanding.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have issues and you tried some things and you feel like you need some help, don't hesitate to reach out to a mental health professional to help you and your mate work through
Yes.
some things and learning how literally you do not have to be falling apart and unhappy to go to therapy for
Right.
real. People can come to therapy just to enhance their relationship,
Mm.
just to see, what I'm saying, just to grow even more, and things like that. And just stay in a good place, or whatever. So, I mean, but if you're having issues with, when you having toxic or unhealthy arguments and stuff like that, it's best to go seek somebody to help you with that. And
Definitely.
one of the things that I did want to say, and that I'm practicing not cutting people off, so that's why I forgot about it. Praying if you are a believer, praying with your mate, sometimes a situation may come up and it may be seen like something that's a cycle and something that might keep coming up, or something you might have a hard time resolving. Pray together.
That's right.
Listen to each other's heart and prayer to God, when it comes to those things too. And that can be very helpful as well. Because you always want to keep God. I know we want to keep God in the middle.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
that's something that's.
I was about to say that. I was about to say, boy, a lot of you people need Jesus. I'm telling you.
I would say that's probably one thing that's missing in most marriages, that you just jump in because you are attractive or what you provide for me, and let's just go ahead and get married just because, and not really think about all that comes with it. Same goes for those who I just want the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Married for the wrong reasons instead of what's important and what's going to actually keep you together and happy. Yeah. That's
you got to also remember that, you got to keep God first. I think people miss that part. They kind of just say, well, it's us, but, God did ordain the marriage. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like one of those big points that keeps y'all together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That should be your source.
Right.
So if that's not your source, and you're just saying, well, we going about our day and we doing what we want to do.
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah, it's going to fall however it's going to go. So.
Yep, because a part of how you treat your mate, I know that we talk about, I know a part of how I treat my mate is because of the God in me and keeping God first in my relationship and keeping God first in my life. So that's a part of that, pours out into how I treat my mate too. Because if I do something that I know ain't right, or say something in a certain way, and sometimes, like even the other day we was having a conversation, and then I came back. I think the next day, I called him and I was like, because he was at work, and I was like, you know what, I want to, and we wasn't even having an argument. It was just a conversation, like literally just talking.
Yeah.
And I said, I want to apologize to you for what I said, because I felt like it was just laid on my heart to say, you know what, that wasn't totally right, and I don't know how he felt when I said it or whatever, because like I said, it wasn't an argument, nothing, just a conversation we was having. We was just conversing, and I was like, I don't know, that seemed a little bit like, that just seemed to me in that moment when I thought about it more wrong,
Okay.
like I said, like I was wrong.
Right.
So
I showed it, and they thought it required an apology, because like when you call me at work talking about I apologize, I'm like,
but it was in my heart.
Because it was really just a conversation.
It was in my heart to do that though.
Right.
I'm like, gosh, maybe I'm thinking, dang, like that could. I remember saying, but at the same time, I also felt like I was saying something to him that was like a old. How sometimes, like, I feel like I grew out of that mindset,
Right.
but I said something to him that was more in line with that mindset that I don't want to be in.
Right.
So that's why I was like, apologize to him for that.
It's like a conviction type of
thing. Because that might not been the right thing to say.
Right.
Yeah, because at the time I was thinking like, well, why is she apologizing to me?
Like, I forgot about it.
But I mean, if she, if she felt like she wanted to do it, then I get it. You know what I'm saying?
So
that part is it's a conviction type of thing.
Conviction.
So
I get it.
It's triggered. Like if you have the God in you, it could come to you and say, that wasn't right. Then you're like, let me go apologize. And that person looking at you like, what you talking about? And then it's more internal.
But I mean, of course, I was happy to get the apology, but I just didn't feel like it was required. You know what I'm saying? Or I wasn't looking for no apology.
Right.
I ain't go to work like, dang, she didn't apologize or anything.
Right.
But it wasn't thinking because it wasn't like that.
Right.
Yeah, we have conversations about a lot of
stuff.
We were literally just talking.
And it was just a simple disagreement. It was a simple disagreement that we were just talking about.
And it was not. Nobody was. It was no argument.
No arguing and nothing like that.
I feel like you should do X, Y, Z is what I was saying.
Right.
And so I had to think about it, like, why am I telling him he need to do this? Like, that's wrong. And yeah, so sometimes, like, when you really sincerely want to interact or be in that relationship, and you want it to be pleasing to God in that way, God will, He will direct you and guide you into certain ways, So that's what I felt like. This was that,
Right.
I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, this just call him and just say,
I
forget all that. What I said, like, scratch that off.
Yeah.
Scratch that off the list.
Right.
Don't even worry about it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So yeah. So that's fight and fail, and not even getting to a fight. Being fair when you ain't even fighting.
Exactly.
Right.
Just being fair all around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it helps a lot.
Thank
It
y'all
really
for
does.
joining us.
Yes.
Thank you for having us.
Yes. Thanks for
It's
coming
lovely.
through.
Yeah.
Spreading y'all wisdom with us, because a lot of people needed to hear that. Y'all made some
Yes.
very, very good points. Yes. Especially that one question you asked about the age or the amount of time you've been married. That was a great question. My goodness. Yeah.
Well,
Oh yeah.
Maturity, emotional intelligence, all of that plays a lot of part, and even trauma.
Right.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yes.
So, but y'all, we could really talk about this all day. So therefore, when we get with these two, we can bump our guns
for a long time.
Yes.
Because we hardly ever see y'all.
Sometimes
But we
they
do
call us and be like, "Hey, we got a question." We call them and be like, "Hey,
We got a question.
Be on the phone for hours talking.
We live in different cities, so
Yeah.
Yes.
And so yeah, that's the episode, right?
All right.
And y'all don't forget to hit the like button,
subscribe,
hit that notification bell,
share it, do all that stuff.
Comment and let us know what y'all think, and stuff like that. And we will see y'all on episode 14 in 2 Tuesdays from now.
All right.
Cue the theme music. All right, y'all. Y'all take care.